Hello, my mystical beauties. Welcome back to Oracle Mystica. Today we have a really cool reading. I definitely have noticed that when I've done more career type readings, people have been semi interested in that. So I thought I would do something in that realm, but not directly career. Um, Kind of looking at our purpose of being, which incorporates sort of like how we contribute to the world and, what we're here for. And it definitely incorporates sort of like vocation and profession, but also passions and mission. Like we want to tie a little bit more into that. And I'm going to put up a Venn diagram of the thing that's sort of inspiring this. And don't pay attention on the diagram. It will say it's that Japanese philosophy, or I don't know if it's a philosophy, but this word, Ikigai. I don't even know if I've pronounced that right. And as I researched that meaning, there's this Venn diagram that was made really popular and everyone associates it with this term, but it really doesn't align to the true meaning. So, sort of, maybe I'll find a way to sort of cross that off the Venn diagram. But it is sort of a diagram of like how to find your purpose. So, really honing in on different questions around like what do we love? What does the world need? What are we good at? What was the other question? What can we be paid for? And there's different ways of taking each of those questions and putting two of them together to the overlay will create sort of a category that's like profession or vocation or mission or passion. And it kind of starts out at like a big broad, these big broad terms, and then we want all of these things to start working together, so that once you get into this center, there's like this center of being, the center of purpose, where all of these things sort of come together to cooperate within us in order to really live out the best of what we have to offer and what's needed, and all that good stuff. So it's definitely a little complex, so we'll see how this goes. And I've kind of made some of my own little note cards to put out to help with this that will require a lot of space. I don't know. We'll see how that goes too, if there's enough space for how I imagine this needing to be laid out. But we'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, there are 4 piles to choose from in this reading. We've got the green calcite. Let's see, it's not focusing, is it? Okay, and then the pyrite. It's pile 2. So the green calcite was pile 1. Crystal clear quartz for pile 3. And a tumbled calcite for pile 4. So, all you mystical beauties out there, take some time to focus on these piles, see which one is drawing you into your greatest purpose and figuring out how to be able to kind of bring aspects of self together in order to live this out and more fully and consciously embrace this aspect of it. So take a couple of deep breaths. I really feel like that helps us sort of clear out any stagnant stuff, get centered, and push us into sort of the higher mind or into the third eye to channel some more beautiful higher wisdom and guidance in choosing the pile. So deep breath in, hold at the top, out through the nose. Deep breath in, hold at the top, out through the mouth, and a big ah that awe opens our crown chakra center and really invites inspiration in. So, enlightenment type stuff. Okay, so if you need a little bit more time to meditate on these, this is where you should pause and take your time with that. If not, we will jump straight into pile number 1 with the green calcite. All right, see you guys in your readings. Hello, my lovely pile 1. This is your what is my greatest purpose? What can I contribute to the world? All sorts of beautiful things reading. My intent for this is not to give sort of like really, really specific, like, your passion is ice skating or your profession is a psychiatrist. My intent is to bring some cards that give different energies and then use some archetypes that are a little bit more general to, so that there's a lot of flexibility in here because we all do very different things. But I think archetypes, the energies of, tarot cards and more general sort of archetypes can lend themselves to so many different things, and they can kind of be a marker for you to help you recognize how you're working with these different categories that we're going to get into. And there's quite a few cards coming out in like very specific categories, so I'm hoping we have the space we need. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, the point is to just sort of bring in some identifying markers to show energies you have in the different things, how to blend them, and kind of start moving all of these to work together into some central point that is the purpose. The central point in this reading is sort of like where your greatest purpose lies, and it's pulling all of these things within us towards its center to work with. But a lot of times we get stuck in one or the other, or like maybe in a grouping. And I have some note cards that will show like certain feelings or sensations that may appear in your life if you're really stuck in like this, like passion and profession is like where you kind of really hone in, and then so how to sort of pull some of this other stuff into to kind of balance everything. Okay, we'll put your little green calcite at the top here, or maybe we'll put it with this green passion. Maybe that's where you guys focus. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to pull a tarot card for each of these areas with a confirmation tarot card. And then I'm going to just write down, and I invite you to, find your own meanings if you want, but I'm just going to kind of write down what these composite energies feel like to me to help kind of center my focus too. But feel free to make your own interpretations. As I talk about the cards, what I pull out after talking about the energies does not have to be, exactly you. It's just an identifying thing for me. Okay. Fill in this card. 6 of Cups, 4 of Wands. Okay, so in passion, and this says what you're good at plus what you love is sort of like where passion in this, the Venn diagram I'm reading, kind of, that's what it's labeled, where it's coming from. So with a 4 of Swords, there's definitely like the focal energy. I'm using the second card more as like this confirmation or some sort of lens placed on it. With your passion, it's sort of like you're very good at bringing stability of mind, harmonizing the mind, harmonizing. Um, it's it could be used more as personal energy, helping people to center their own minds. So, that could even be sort of teaching energy, giving people skills to, or knowing how to use systems or tools or structures or skills to structure and focus and organize the mind. Or it could be more of like a mediation thing of like how to calm conflict in a very organized, reasoned, logical way. And with the Six of Cups overlaying here, there's definitely this. This is where I feel like there could be. I'm not saying you have to be a therapist. Or a mediator, but there's something about being able to bring memories and baggage from the past and really be able to sort it and organize it in order to see where the growth has been, where the beauty has been in whatever journey has taken place up to a certain point, up to the point where this call for like mind to stabilize and organize and refine something is coming in. So like passion wise, things that are coming to mind are like counselor, mediator. It could be there's something about a like writing about. I don't know why writing's coming through. Maybe the sword energy, that air. Writing about memory. Feel free to pull, like, as I talked about the cards, maybe something sticks out for you, like think about your passions, what you're good at, plus what you love. You don't have to, use these. These are just to kind of help me remember what I said about these piles. But you know what you're passionate about. So, how do these energies of like stabilizing mind and organizing memory and bringing sort of peace and stability and balance to thoughts and ideas and resonances, attunements with others, like harmonizing with others. Yeah, so those are just some thoughts there. Okay, so let's look at mission. This is what the world needs plus what you love. Kind of makes up in this reading your mission. Temperance. Love this like very balancing type energy sort of coming through. I know temperance isn't necessarily Librian, but there's this kind of ability to find the right rhythms and the right beliefs and stuff. Four of Wands and the stability coming through. Okay, so in a mission, what world needs plus what you love, there's energy about being able to, it's again what's coming through is this ability to take opposing, anywhere where there's like this messy friction or tension, whether that's internally with a person or, about different ideas and factions of people. But you're able to kind of take really polar things and bring them a little bit more into a tempered place, into a more moderate place. you're able to bring moderation into things and the importance of that in order to sort of progress and move forward and create flow and expansion in life. And there's a lot of creativity you have with this, a lot of confidence in your voice, confidence in your passions, and an ability to even like create programs or projects or something that are really beautiful and really bring people together in a very centered, unified way. So definitely still feeling like guidance energy with you guys. And so it's very sort of like a unifier of sorts. I don't know what that. I mean, that kind of quality could be brought into so many different things. That's what I'm feeling more here is like qualities that are important here: an ability to guide, an ability to unify, an ability to create flow and celebration. Flow and celebration. Okay. All right, vocation. So this is in this reading what you're paid for plus what the world needs. So like what you find you're able to be paid for. Not necessarily what you're paid for right now, but like what you could be paid for, and on top of what the world needs. Death. Let's see, I'm gonna just push these up a little. Need some room in the center. Okay. Yeah. Let's take the star that fell out on top here. Death and star, that's big energy. 2 major arcana. So vocation could be a central thing for you, what you're paid for plus what the world needs. Could be somewhere where you kind of gravitate. So with death and the star, this is like this ability to show how to let go of things in order to usher in new possibility, fresh ideas, fresh hope, fresh belief, and this willingness to just like really uproot anywhere where there's blocks, stuckness, oppression. Yeah, so I mean, like, even if you're going to take this down to something like an accountant, you could see where a company might need to kill off like a branch of something or certain programs because like you can see where money just tends to like go into this black hole of nothingness, or it's like clogging or hemorrhaging things. It's like you're able to bring that forward in a way that where you can show the potential of like what could be done with that money otherwise. That's just like one more practical type of example. On the more radical side, it could be, a real advocate and what's the word I'm looking for? Like a activist type energy where you see where big change needs to be made, and so like what parts of society are just no longer serving the whole anymore. So it can be as grounded and practical as the accountant think, or as big and idea centered as like the activist. So I'm just going to put those two things as, this could apply to so many realms, but those are just the two examples I ended up pulling out. Okay, so profession. what you're good at plus what you're paid for. The Tower. Okay. I just have to say, even though we're not to the point of trying to like see how these can meld, I'm definitely feeling this thread of like this knowledge of how to really clear blocks out of the way and get life moving and really organize and work with a lot of interesting things such as playing off of memory or emotions to create change, to inspire change. But we'll see. Whoa. Tower and Tower, you guys. That's massive. Okay. I mean, legitimately what I just said. Like, you have 0 F's to give about tearing down what's no longer working, what's old, what is just frankly ready to go. Like, you can see this isn't even like pulling out the systemic things that haven't really been seen yet. These are the things that are, to me, I think these are the things that are already in the forefront. But sometimes when we get them in the forefront and we have these big movements or internal protests, if it's like a company, or just like a lot of dialogue or discussion of like, what do we do with this scenario? You're the one that can come in and like, how to be like, it just like change. Like, we need to really have courage and really pivot here, and you can inspire that, and you have the courage to stand up for that big idea instead of like, how do we patch it up? It's like, no, this just isn't working. You're like that voice of reason of like, we can try and patch it up for a while, but ultimately this is done, that kind of energy. I'm already sort of giving you the big idea, but it just seems like, I feel like you guys with all this like 4 energy, it's like you have this stability already to like maybe know how to really work these well. Change maker. Demolition. Surrender. I just feel like this is sort of that ability to just surrender when when the signs are there, it's time to just surrender something, like this isn't working. Yeah, super cool. Okay, so we are going to pull some archetype cards now that will show, let's see, I'm going to move these out of the way. We are done with them for now. So these archetype cards are going to show how to bring the different intersecting points together, and like archetypes that will show up when you're working with, say, passion and profession, or mission and passion. Which I think we'll see how it goes, but should be semi-easy to recognize in ourselves. This one's wanting out. The crone, very wise. You are old souls for sure. So when you get passion and mission working together, that sort of like mediator, counselor with your unifier and creating flow energy, this crone archetype will show up in you. This ability to use the wisdom of the past to know how to look towards the future. So really like being able to center people in the now through showing the wisdom of like past patterns, and then being able to logically lay out then like arguments for why we should progress in a certain way or plan for the future in a certain way. But you're very it's like a very detached energy, but very caring, where it cares about the whole. So you kind of have to step back from the fray a bit with this energy, from the one-on-one intimacies, and look at the bigger pictures and care for the bigger picture things rather than the individual detailed type stuff. But it's all done, that detachment and that past, present, future sight is a beautifully caring energy, even though it's very detached, but you have a lot of wisdom. Okay, so when mission and vocation are working together, kind of that unifier and flow celebration creator tied with that accountant activist sort of analogy, when those are working together, you've got the unseen. I love it. Just this like deep ability to, like with the death and like with temperance, I see where these match up. It's like this ability to see what's under the surface of things, to see past any superficiality, hence what's needed in order to create new flow and expansion. So you have this ability to see into those unseen, like what's under the surface, where are the clogs or the leaks, in with a purpose of trying to find more unity and care and just togetherness, okay, really beautiful. Okay, so vocation and profession working together. So sort of that demolisher, change maker energy with that accountant activist analogy. The archetype that will show up when that is in place is the prayer. Beautiful, like so sacred. Death and the Tower to me have so much, they're definitely different, but there's this similarity, and it takes really mature energy to handle them. And I think that comes from understanding the beauty and sacredness of life, and the sacredness of words and spells, or like, how energies are directed in a very ritualized, formal, space holding way. And it's like you really care for whatever this vocation profession, so like whatever your industry is, or your role in the world in general, is like you really care to bring a much greater sacredness to it all. So really beautiful. So that sort of archetypal energy that will show up when profession and vocation are working together. Okay, and then the last one, when passion and profession are working together. An archetype that will show up is the Mother. Wow, Crone and the Mother and prayer. Like, you guys you're like, you're the carers. You're the caretakers of this world. You see the beauty of bringing support systems in. You see the beauty of making sure people are cared for and have like basic standards of resources and care that they need. And there's definitely sort of this protectiveness and fierceness that can come out of you when certain boundaries with certain people are being toyed with, or when groups of people or individuals are kind of getting lost in the fray. You're very protective of people. From the most privileged down to the most vulnerable, like you care for them all. It's like you just care because someone's human, sort of thing, and naturally just have this want to provide support to wherever support is most needed, because that is what creates foundations and understanding and stability in life, that stability coming through. Let's see, definitely from the Four of Swords and this mothering, like with the Tower energy with the mother, this mother definitely feels sort of like when there are things that really just like have become obviously impactful in negative ways, I think you're very fierce through a mothering instinct about tearing things down, not through, and even that prayer, this Tower meshing with the vocation and passion. This is not like a let's tear it down and rage and burn everything. This is like, we need to make this world more special and sacred and beautiful. That's why we're doing this. That's why I'm advocating for releasing old ways, and being brave and bold and like crushing what's what's no longer working. Okay, before we look at the center archetype that will pull these all together, there are energies that will show when you get stuck, feelings of stuckness in if this is vocation plus mission is sort of where you get stuck, and these other areas aren't being as attended to. This crone energy for you will feel sort of a delight and a fullness, but a lack of wealth of resources coming in. So then it's sort of like how we're going to pull a couple of oracle cards to show what is needed to integrate the opposite energy, integrate this prayer energy in order to bring more of that, like what's paid for energy that this energy is lacking. Okay, so passion, sacral chakra. So a little bit of movement and energy and creative juice needed, which can really come through movement and expressing yourself and being next to waters. Oh wait, I'm shuffling the wrong pile or the wrong cards. Okay, and then I have these new cards. It says dirt gems. I'm going to have to look up the interpretations because I don't know these, but holy basil. Okay, so this card says the romantic, oh the sparkle, the effervescence, the twinkling starry night of holy basil, what a true and joyful friend, dancing in the night, laughing in the day, bringer of buoyancy, and clear and true companionship. Holy basil is a brightener of the spirit, a true harbinger of euphoric peace. The energy of holy basil should be released into our water supply, bringing light into the eyes of the collective, curling up the corners of our mouths and letting all our hearts sing out. Let's see, it is a guide in navigating stressors, creating strategies to navigate them. Just scanning this. Collectively can help us to brighten, lighten, and loosen ties to the culture of stress and our stress response. Hold each other when needed, allow for freedom and release. These effects can ripple out in our shared society in ways that benefit and brighten us all. So what I'm really feeling about these cards, like when you're really stuck in the crone energy and there's like a lack of wealth being felt, you really need to move. And this crone really is sort of this elder energy that's quite serious, and it's holding the weight of the world. Like it really is this like wisdom keeper that has so much concern about like what needing to get people on track for when they leave, wanting 7 generations from them to be held and felt okay. And that's just like a lot of pressure to hold. So this energy is kind of saying like to step into a little bit more lightness and joy and communion and laughter and moving your body. And how can you do moving prayer, even if you need to still keep it somewhat like serious or something, you can do like moving prayers to kind of move you down into this prayer energy where what you're paid for lives. Creating ceremony that's light and beautiful and celebratory or something like that. Okay, so when you're stuck in, let's see, where's my card? Excitement and complacency, but uncertainty. That's where you get stuck in. If you're stuck in the unseen, in seeing what's under the surface, what's under the superficiality to help move and clear things and create flow. When you're stuck in this and not getting what's missing, like what you're good at is missing in this one. Energies you can pull in to help with this. Dissipating with, dissipating with the solar plexus. And Elecapane, I don't know how to pronounce that. Looks like there's a picture of the lungs on it though. So let's read, let's see, card 17. The moving river, and I feel like this dissipating solar energy too is like a lack of energy or something. Okay. Elecapane is the bright sun, the fortifier, the perimeter walker, the wind in a stuffy room. It has amazing affinity with the human lungs to hone in to our most intimate bodily interference with the world, asking the question, what is me and what is not me? Our lungs navigate how we draw in what we need to make every cell in our bodies function without letting in the dangers and pollutants that cause us harm. It's the ally that shines a light onto what we need and has the capacity to expel what we do not. I really feel like this is a movement. I feel like this unseen energy, it's like you have to get really, really still to see deep down into the dark waters of what's not on the surface. And if you get stuck in this energy, that solar sense of identity, sense of willpower, sense of energy may dissipate. So like getting back into your body where you're really using your lungs to inhale and expel things will help you kind of step into more of like that energy and what you're good at type area that the unseen part is missing. Okay. When you are stuck in profession and vocation, there can be, so when you're stuck in the prayer energy and not getting enough of what you love, you can have feelings of comfort, but feeling empty at the same time. So some things that can come out to help move you into what you love. Completion. Okay. And shoot. I feel like this lion wanted to come out. Lobelia. Sorry. Just a mess over here. Okay. Let's look at Lobelia really quick. 42. Okay. The middle finger of protection. Lobelia is a loving and firm advocate for giving less Fs, caring much less about approval and drawing clear and uncompromising boundaries. If you find yourself feeling unraveled, if you are prone to panic or severe anxiety, Lobelia will not shy away from a high intensity state. No nonsense. Lobelia has a long ceremonial history used for protection and to allow us to slide into more expansive states. Panic and anxiety are contractive. Within these states, we vibrate too quickly and unevenly. Lobelia allows for the shoulders to drop, the esophagus to open, and says, "You are okay, I will protect you." It allows for a smoothing out and slowing down, bringing our rocking down to a ripple rather than crashing wave. It purges, produces vomit. Gets into our hidden emotional currents and secret motivations. Look with strength. Once you see it, you can handle it. The monsters are not as scary as we think. So yeah, I feel like this is like when you're stuck in prayer, in this prayer archetype energy or feelings of comfort but feeling empty, there's it's almost like that prayer quality has gotten too soft and light centered, like needing it to be a gentle place for people and you. But sometimes we have deep, difficult things that need violent kind of purges. And yeah, so like really getting down into held pains and griefs and panics, things, underlying things that are keeping you from feeling open and feeling bold and fierce rather than kind of like light and gentle. Yeah, there's something about moving the sacral energy, which is sort of in the womb area, and like even just like yelling F and the middle finger up, like getting things moving by just sort of jolts, by screaming, even if it's just like by yourself in a room or up to the moon on a full moon or something, just like moving energy with more force and anger and exhale and like, and that crone, it's pushing you into this crone energy who is, that elder energy kind of gives no Fs. They're about to die. They're just, they've seen all the violence. They've gone through traumas and healing. They know it all, and that this kind of energy doesn't scare them. So you can call on that crone to kind of help you give less F's about something. Okay, moving on to our last place where where passion and profession meet, and the mother comes out as an archetype. If there's stuckness in this, feelings of satisfaction but somewhat uselessness, and this energy is missing what the world needs. Okay, so let's look at the oracles that have advice of moving towards. Was this one wanting to move towards the unseen and what the world needs? What's going on here? Okay. Just got all jumbled, sorry. Okay. And so heart chakra, grief, so some loss, and then dogwood. Okay, so let's look at dogwood real quick. The loyal. For those who feel hardened by their own history, dogwood is a powerful reminder of how to learn from what has come before and how to then become something entirely new. Someone not determined by past scars. This elegant plant ally will help you discard feelings of threat and violation. Dogwood stops the memories. Oh, that's interesting because that passion one has a connection to memory. Will help you discard feelings of threat. Dogwood stops the memories from radiating their pain and lets the scars ripple and melt back into the body. Let's see. Helps you sort of like undo ways, like judgments, or patterns you've cultivated that you think are part of your personality or surroundings, and gives you that permission to be like, I can be whoever I want. I can decide to be new and different, and yeah, so I think this dogwood and grief is sort of like holding very tight, and that makes sense with the mother energy, just like holding on so tightly to certain things that you've nurtured and helped grow and protect, and things just tend to, they move on, like a child who goes off to college, that, it doesn't have to be that example, but there's so many things like that we tend to and nurture and take care of that just naturally progress beyond into their own new cycles and new adventures. And this energy is saying it's like time, in order to move past certain griefs held in you, giving your permission to reinvent yourself, to start your own new chapters, and that will help you kind of move into seeing more about what the world needs from you, or what the world needs, which is that unseen archetype coming, helping that come back out of you. Okay, so the fun part we're going to see down in the very center, when all of these archetypes are very healthy and you feel like you understand their presence in your life, and you can understand when you're stagnant in one and how to kind of balance that. When these are all sort of balanced, like what is the central purpose that then comes into focus? This is the juicy spot, guys. The underworld. That is so fitting with the crone and the unseen and prayer. Yeah, underworld is definitely sort of like this ability to strip the superficialities of life and see into soul, to take what is being demolished, what's done, and recycle, and being that kind of earthworm energy that's able to aerate, recycle, create fresh, new, beautiful soils. Like I see the mother in that, like nurturing the foundations of life. The crone, seeing the way forward. So the courage to do that kind of work, which takes a lot of intuition because that's down, and you have to use different senses when you're in the underworld. You can't see so well. So like a deep, deep turning on of intuition, and willingness to be just very, very, very vulnerable and bold in that vulnerability, because it's the depth, the soul of everything. Okay, so one last card. These sort of flower botany cards will show for this central purpose card patterns that will show up when there's balance around this, and patterns that will show up when there's imbalance around them. Okay, so Morning Glory is the card that showed up. Patterns of balance. Sparkling vital force, awake and refreshed, in touch with natural life rhythms. Patterns of imbalance, dull, toxic, or hung over. An inability to fully enter the body, especially in the morning. Addictive or erratic sleeping habits, and deplete life force. Okay, there is your reading. I hope this was helpful. It's definitely a lot. But, take a screenshot of this and make some of your own notes. I really think this could be a really beautiful tool to like really step into your purpose in life. All right. I'm going to leave you here, pile one. If this clicked for you, I always appreciate and feel very supported when you give me a thumbs up or a little comment. And definitely love when you subscribe and follow my other readings. So let me know what you think, and I will see you in another reading. See you guys. Hello, pile 2, you Pyrite mystical beauties. If this is you guys, welcome to this reading of finding your, let's see, I'll put this rock, kind of sort of matches that one. Sort of finding your greatest contribution to the world, your purpose, just different aspects of self. We're going to learn how to kind of tie them together and balance them and bring them all to the forefront to really shine in our central purpose. So taking things such as our passion, our mission, our vocation, our profession, and seeing how to work with them. And this idea was kind of taken from a Venn diagram of this centered around this Japanese word of like kind of reason of being, but it's I don't know how to pronounce it, so I apologize if I offend anyone in my poor pronunciation, but Ikigai, I think. Technically, when I dove into researching this topic and that concept, this Venn diagram that I'm showing, I don't know if I will have either shown it in the intro or maybe right now and will show up, I don't know. But at some point it will be there. There's critiques around it that it really doesn't, like that word, we need to not associate with it. I'm just saying that's sort of like where this has come from, but really what it should be a Venn diagram about is like our purpose. So that's what I'm aligning this with. So we're going to look at some tarot cards, two tarot cards for each of these. And then I'm going to write down what I write down about like what comes from these energies. Doesn't have to be like, I'm not going to get really specific, like profession, you're a doctor. Like, I'm not going to do that. This is more about energies around these things that could be applied to so many different missions or professions or passions. I think you probably know what these things are for you, but we're looking at archetypal tarot energies as well as archetypal energies that will present themselves so that you can kind of learn to understand when you're in one or lacking in one, sort of like how to bring more balance to them. And then we're going to see how each of these intersections, an archetype that will show up at each of the intersections when they're working together, and then some cards that show how to sort of like harmonize the more, parallel ones. So it's a little bit intricate, but I do think it's going to be a very interesting and useful. Pile ones was really cool, so we'll see what happens with you guys. Okay, so let's start with passion. Let's see. So each of these from this diagram have a couple of things that come together to, in their interpretation, make what the titles are. So with passion, it's what you're good at plus what you love. Equating to passion in this scenario, in this context. Okay. So strength. Ace of Wands, beautiful. Ace of Wands is very passion-y. Okay, so things coming to mind here, and Leo, strength is very associated with the energy of Leo. So really that courage to stand in your heart, and the Ace of Wands is sort of like fresh vitality, fresh creativity, fresh projects kind of coming out of you. So you could really like be passionate about bringing new creative ideas that are meant to kind of shine in the world out to be seen, and really standing in as sort of like the spokesperson, the leader, whatever it needs to be to instigate creative projects in the world. So a real big passion for like, so this is sort of like instigator energy, creative instigation. These are a little bit more here for me to kind of remember what I've said, but feel free to, if what I've written down or called out really resonates, latch onto them as well. So like a creative instigator, an ability to kind of shine a light on like the new trends. So like a trendsetter type of energy. Willingness to be seen and to bring forward the new trends. So creative instigator, trendsetter, that sort of energy generally I'm feeling here with your passion energy. Okay, let's look at mission. What the world needs plus what you love is what mission in this context is talking about. Queen of Cups, beautiful. And the Chariot. Both very Cancerian energy, but bringing a feminine, really diving into the feminine quality of the Cancerian energy, a protector of the people. This is, it's like you have mission. When you're tied to mission, you definitely have position. You're someone who is a protector, and you're able to take very soulful, healthy, soulful, nurturing things and really elevate them into the world and move them forward in the world with your command. So again, this definitely, I saw this with pile one too. I'm not surprised. There's definitely like some overlapping things I'm seeing here. Really able to, so this is sort of like project director type energy. But also it's like the mother protector of the world. Yeah, so, you know, definitely don't have to go with the things I say. As I've talked about the cards, maybe something else comes to mind when you think about mission and as pertaining to what the world needs, plus what you love and what shows up in your energy around this. With Queen of Cups and Chariot and Cancerian energy, which is depth and soulfulness and nurturing and protecting, and then the Queen is very much a commander, and the Chariot is very much sort of like moving things, able to move things forward. Okay, so looking at vocation, what you are paid for plus what the world needs. Yeah, so 10 of Pentacles, beautiful. Getting some Virgo in here to kind of stabilize some of this watery, fiery stuff going on. King of Coins, wow. Earth energy in your vocation. Definitely good energy around finding income or being paid when needed. So this energy is showing a real know-how in commerce, in knowing how to generate a flow of resources, connecting resources. It's all grounded in like physical, practical material, but you know how to circulate the material of our world, whether that's money, products, whatever, anything, bodies, not that we want to, I don't know, move by, like event type stuff, like knowing how to shepherd bodies around, getting them to the right places at the right time. And then with the King of Coins, it's just like you really, it's like accountant energy, chief financial officer here. Not just accountant, like king of accountant. Chief financial officer energy, like you really know how to see the big picture of resources and how to manage them on a big scale. So big financial energy in you guys in terms of vocation ability. So I'm going to put commerce expert and CFO and maybe like event production or something. And, use the things I've already talked about to come up with your own things. These are, again, just saying these don't have to match you. They're just sort of example energies that are coming through to me. Okay, so profession is what you are good at plus what you can be paid for. Three of Wands. Guys, you really have some beautiful cards. I just want to say, like, yeah, lovely energy like this. Two of Cups and Three of Wands. This totally feels like party to me, like having a vision, creative visions and like bringing people together, or knowing how to make things come together around visions. So visionary in general in profession, a planner of sorts, planning energy, so I'm picking up some, with that Two of Cups plus Wands being fiery. There's something romantic in vibration here. I don't know exactly how that falls under profession, but something romantic and feeling could be tied in there. Okay. So this is where we get to a fun part. We are going to see how, like, archetypal energies that will show up when any two neighboring categories are really harmonized and working together to kind of progress your life. And we're actually done with these. Sorry. Okay. So when passion and mission are working together, an archetype that will appear in you is the Temple. So really knowing how to create sacred spaces is one thing, to hold space, knowing how to hold space, create sacred spaces, as well as like this could also more tangibly or more zoned in be sort of about the body. You may really understand things about the body and how to treat the body and really have reverence for the body. So some sort of body work coming in here, or an ability to really know how to create sacred spaces, or whatever temple might signify to you. Okay, so when mission and vocation are harmonized and working well together, an archetype that you will see show up in yourself. Oh my gosh. The threshold. Yes, I love this with the sort of moving projects forward from the mission, and then like moving, this feels like a moving energy, and then like moving commerce, creating flow and material. It's like that movement really helps to push the thresholds of things. Like you're able to come up against what hasn't been done yet and cross new thresholds because of your know-how of how to move projects and move material in the world. So like you are a creator of new thresholds is what I'm feeling like. Whoops. The Village. Sorry. Okay. This one is for when vocation and profession are working together. The archetype that might show up in you is the Village. So a deep care for community and for sort of understanding resources needed in a community, what makes the community move and thrive, and the importance of connection, of unity and celebration, and things that really draw and create bonded and resourceful and generative communities, which doesn't surprise me with your ability, coming from the vocation side, this ability to move things and commerce, and from the profession side, this visionary element of it takes someone with vision to know how to think past their own lives to what makes their community thrive. This could even just be like like city planning, even, you know, energy type stuff, or yeah, I mean, could be gazillion things. That's just one thing that came to mind. Okay, so passion and profession, when these two are harmonized and working together, an archetype that would show up is the empty room. Okay, I apologize. I know most of these cards, but I don't really know what this one is about, so I'm just going to look it up real quick. I want to make sure I'm not just making things up that have nothing to do with what that card actually means or was intended to mean. Okay, it's the vortex, the abyss, always the hungry ghost, always feeding, never satisfied. The empty room haunts us all. It is the universal and all too frequent feeling of lack, of wanting, of the craving to fulfill ourselves with something, anything. We too often attempt to remedy this comfort, the discomfort of the empty room, by any means necessary, leading us to a culture of more. Be with the nothingness, be with the impatience. Empty room has immense power. Let others wonder what you are doing. If you can settle into the magic of emptiness, you will soon hear its whispers of wisdom. So it's, in essence, this ability to sit with a blank slate and come up with potential and possibility from nothing, which is really beautiful. And that would make sense with this Ace of Wands energy of like new inspiration, and then the Three of Wands with vision. That would make sense. These two working together is just this like really almost inspired ability to just like stare at a nothingness and find masterful inspiration if you're willing to sit and be patient and wait for it to arise, you know. Okay, so really cool. So the next step in trying to get to the middle, we have a little bit to do before we can get there. The center thing is there are, let's see, actually we'll start from here and go around like we did before. So when you are stuck in one of these archetypes or a little stagnant in one, it's usually meaning that its opposite one is not getting the proper attention. And we want to sort of balance them in order to kind of bring the gravity to the center here. So on this side, with the temple, if you have feelings of delight and fullness, but a lack of wealth, it means the energy that's missing from this center point is what you are paid for. So we're going to pick some oracle cards to show how to move more towards that village energy when you are stuck in these feelings of like lack of wealth, even though there's some delight. Okay. So guilt. Got some sacral chakra energy. And then this other oracle card I'm going to read from the book. They're new and I don't really know them, but I love what they've brought forth when I've just been playing with them. So, okay. So guilt in the sacral chakra, definitely like feeling this need to move energies in you that are stuck. And then we'll see if this blue, what does this say? Blue vervain might have some insight into how to move kind of stagnant guilt emotions from in your womb space. So 31. Protector of dream space. Blue vervain is a dear and faithful protector of our most vulnerable state and habit, dream space. Blue vervain regenerates our nervous system, not by giving energy or connecting us more brightly with our on, but because they allow us to rest, to restore, and renew. They are an ally to those who have suffered trauma at any point in their lives and who therefore find it difficult to feel relaxed, safe, or okay, even when the original threat is well past or gone. Okay. It's a restorer of earth. Occupies the edges of disturbed soils, allows areas to rest and regenerate. Interesting. So it's like if you've maybe overdone this temple energy, the body or a space is like overused or overworked. Certain feelings of, in this picture, she's chained. It's like when you feel sort of chained to physical things, the space and body, there's a need to shift your nervous system from sympathetic functioning of like fight, flight, stress to rest and digest. And this is like, you need more sleep, you need to kind of dream, to allow things to rest is sort of what's coming through here. And I would think with the village, it's sort of like allowing other people to pick up the slack type of thing as well. Allow yourself rest and allow other people to do their jobs. I think would push you down into the village energy, or ignite that to help support some rest there. Okay. Really cool. So when you get stagnant in this threshold archetypal energy, you could feel some excitement and complacency, but uncertainty. So this is the archetypal energy that would be missing what you're good at type of energy. And so let's pull some oracles to see how to kind of draw you towards that empty room archetype to balance this. Perseverance. An evening primrose. I love evening primrose. Okay, let's see what evening primrose says. So perseverance, again in the sacral chakra. There's a lot of sacral balancing so far coming up of like needing to really pay attention to the fluids of your body, the flow, your rhythms kind of thing. Okay, 18. Night bloomer, lubricating, sweet, neutralizing, and cooling. Evening primrose primes the way. A moon being and night walker. I even love how this, like the colors in this versus this is like, this feels like the heat of day and this feels like the dark, moonless night, like where dream space is. Allowing our tissues to relax, emptying them of tension and rigidity. If you are bound up in yourself, irritated, frustrated, coiled, and tired of cycling thoughts, let evening primrose in like the moon through your window, gently lighting your sleepy face. It is nurturing to both those who have given birth and those that have suffered their early years on this planet. Helps us to unwind long-held wounds, that are those that are deep and soft, quietly and in the dark. It's an ally to young life. It holds on to early experiences. If you have felt abandoned, rejected, or feel yourself telling the story that soon you will be, reach out. Evening primrose is a soft hand to hold. It is for those times when we are most impressionable. it whispers you are wanted, you are safe. Sorry, I was just kind of skimming for the main points. Um, yeah, so this threshold energy, like you're always at the forefront here. You could sort of feel a certain aloneness and pushing and pushing. And I feel like these energies are coming in to say, like, it's okay sometimes to not be the one pushing the threshold, pushing the boundary, responsible. Like, there's so much with a king in here and a queen in here. There's like, you feel a lot of weight on your shoulders, and the way to persevere, the way to continue to push the thresholds and hold the big energies that you're able to hold is to give yourself like a little bit more gentleness, know your rhythms, your ability to dream and sleep, and dive into like really impractical imagination that means nothing about the plan that you're tangibly moving, like this empty space room, or this empty room, and the primrose with this, they both have this dark night sky. It's sort of like this willingness to dream of things that can't be, but that might spark your imagination to something amazing that could be, which ultimately will end up pushing the threshold. But it's this like allowance to dream the undreamable and to step out of the practical realm of what should be done next, and just kind of get more whimsical, I think will help your perseverance when you're feeling kind of down and alone and exhausted. So okay, so when you guys are stuck in, I had already pulled it. When you get stuck in the village energy, you could feel comfort, but sort of an emptiness. And the energy that this one is lacking is what you love. Okay, so some oracle cards that will give guidance about what's needed here to bring in that temple energy for some balancing, or just how to be good to this so it can not be overused even. Okay. Ooh. Okay, gratitude is what I saw first. So gratitude. And I love this sort of like, definitely sort of the friendship card here. I think this is third eye. And the vines, this feels very villagey to me, like supporting your neighbors and your friends. Being grateful. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have some ideas on that. Hold on. Let's see what this is. Yarrow. Okay, let's look up yarrow. 46. The Edgewalker. Yarrow is a hard-working and precise filter, an edge plant and gatekeeper. Yarrow aids in deciding what stays and what goes, and therefore is a particularly good ally to empaths. If you are often subject to the swirling energies around you, find yourself especially permeable, overly impacted by others, yarrow is a very meaningful and loyal companion. Means 1,000 leaves, conjures the image of a tightly knitted green lace. And indeed, the work of this plant's magic weaves your blood and your spirit back into a fortified state. Our blood is the basis of all of our physiology, as well as our genetic inheritance and ancestry. It is the thread that stitches all of our lineages together. Yarrow speaks to the blood as an old friend and offers themselves as a safety net. It's resilient and undemanding, allows us to be ourselves. guarding us from feeling too much of what is outside of ourselves or out of our control. Allow yourself to be porous while knowing you are discerning and filtering and safe. So this, I totally understand with this village energy. It's like your energy is being pulled at by such a diversity of things, which you really want to promote as someone who is like a village creator or advocate, whatever. And I think that the energies coming in are saying, like, it's okay to have some boundaries, like you can still be kind and understanding of the diversity needed while not having to accept people that drain you or scenarios that drain you, like kind of just understanding certain, certain boundaries can actually help better behavior, I almost want to say. And then like a real deep it's like showing gratitude to the things that give you energy around this village archetype that you appreciate, that you love, like really giving your focus there, and having some better boundaries with things that, although you understand maybe need to be there for the village's sake, don't have to be super close to you. And I think it's this like sacred space, like really with the temple, like really understanding what's sacred about your own space will draw you back into what you love, and kind of help heal that energy. Okay, so the last one of these is when you get stuck in the empty room archetype or stagnant there, you could have sensations of satisfaction but feeling of uselessness. And the energy that is missing from empty room is what the world needs. Okay, so let's pull the oracle cards to see some advice around getting out of overemphasis or stagnation in this. Gossip. Oops. Take the first one, and hops. Okay. So heart energy. And then let's look up hops real quick. So Mooney, hops is our childhood friend who takes her hand and says, let's take the rowboat out. Hope is the neighbor that says, sit in this rocking chair with me and listen to the wind. Hops is a collector of time and space, of quiet and laughter. Hops has large, limby supply of arms that stretch and wrap lovingly around you until you are warm and sleepy. Hops can create a light, playful rising of your head into the clouds when we need to untether from our sense of control. They release our tight grasp and let what may come rise and float like a balloon. When the medicine that we most need is to lie on our backs in a field and find shapes in the cloud, Hops is our ally. Hops loosens the gears of our reality, oils them, and then tightens them back to just the right tension, allowing a flexibility to become. Let's see. If you're finding yourself anxious, beholden to the details, tied up, clenching, a need for control, invite Hops in. Invite both the losing and finding your way, the lightning and the floating. Invite this friend in who skips beside you. Lie down and watch the stars come out together. I almost want to say that this is an indication that showing that the problem for you is not getting stuck in this energy or stagnant in it, but is like rooting into it, finding your way to it. This may be the weaker link of your four archetypal periphery. And it's sort of like let go of the day, let go of your mind, let go of judgments. And I think with this, like the village energy and all this movement, that the threshold, you are in a lot of contact and involved in a lot of details, and you're just like all the secrets of the world and what's going on in it, can like really, not that I see this gossiping as being like malicious gossip. It's just that you sort of like, I feel like all the details of what's happening in the village, and through your commerce and all the things. And the hops is coming through to kind of like ease your heart into spaciousness, to let go of the information, the details you attend to, and to find your way into lying in a field and watching the clouds, just a nothingness, because yeah, like this is a really important archetype for you that you need, I think, to develop a little more to finally get to this center archetype that we're going to pull now. Okay. So this is the juicy spot. This is when all of these are balanced. The central point is sort of like the archetype that comes out when we feel most living in our purpose and our reason for being as a contributor in the world, Okay. The cave. So interesting, and I actually totally see why this empty room is really, that's what I was sensing, is like you don't get stuck in this, you have a hard time getting into it. And I think that is your access point to going into the cave when you are really living your purpose. You are, what needs protection, how to use intuition and instinct. There's a little bit more of a feminine energy of gestating and incubating that comes on. This balance, I mean, it's this perfect balance of like this total creative energy of like going a little past the empty room of just nothingness and reeling in that threshold of always being on the forefront to put something in incubation that's sacred and that is for the wealth and beauty and harmony of the village. Like you are the womb space when you're in your purpose of creation for the sacredness of community, for the next generation of community, for the potential that could be. But it's all for this very caring place, Yeah, so cool. Okay, so we have one more card. It's these sort of plant cards that show patterns of when this is in balance versus patterns of when it's not in balance, imbalanced. Okay, so Centauri. So patterns of balance, serving others from inner strength while nourishing one's own needs, acting from strength of inner purpose, saying no when appropriate. Totally. This is like self-care. I think you need more self-care. You're very pulled at, you're very involved, and you need to go into your own nourishment is what, keeping your cup full is what allows you to circulate all this stuff. So patterns of imbalance, weak-willed, dominated by others, servile, acting to please, difficulty saying no, fatigue, and related problems due to self-neglect. Yeah, you're a giver. You move, you're a mover, a shaker, you're a giver, and there may be a tendency to either go into complete like with that empty room, like complete escapism versus complete immersion. And this is just like, no, like come from a place of self-nourishment. Like what can you do to self-care every day? And that will just create an endless generative flow of being able to be everything you need to be in all the things you're doing. Beautiful, you guys. Definitely, if this resonated, I always appreciate the thumbs up or the subscriptions. And if it really resonated, a comment is always fun to see what you guys think, or thoughts that came to mind for you with it. So, all right, I will see you guys in another reading. I love what I see here. Hopefully it's useful for you guys. Maybe take a screenshot because this is a lot. So you can kind of make your own map if you want. All right, see you guys later. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. If this is you guys, you picked the clear crystal quartz for your stone. Okay, so this is a very interesting reading. And the first 2 piles were really neat, so we'll see what comes through for you guys. It was sort of inspired by this Venn diagram I saw about kind of taking categories of life and figuring out how to harmonize them to bring you to your central purpose. So sort of like what you contribute to the world. And the main sort of categories it used were passion, mission, vocation, profession. So we're going to be using some tarot cards and some archetype cards and some oracle cards to kind of whittle down and end up in this kind of going in concentric circles to get to the middle, to this central purpose when everything's harmonized, sort of an archetype and patterns of balance and imbalance that show up when you're living in this place. So it's been really cool. It's definitely a little bit complex, but I think useful and interesting. So okay, let's dive right in. To start, I'm going to pick 2 tarot cards for each of these to get sort of a general. I'm not going to get super specific because I think there's such a broad range of what our purposes are and things we do, but I think energies and archetypal things can apply to so many things. So I'm kind of sticking to energetic qualities that sometimes they do inspire me to say certain specific things, but with more as anecdotes rather than being like, you are this in passion or, that kind of thing. Anyway, you'll see as we get into it. So we're going to start with passion and just do 1 tarot card and a confirmation card to kind of get the general energy. And in this context, passion is referring to the intersection of what you're good at plus what you love. 6 of Wands, beautiful. And then a confirmation card, 4 of Coins. So this energy, and I'm going to write down on these little pieces of paper sort of the things that come to mind. You don't have to use them. It's a little bit more for me to keep track of things, but definitely if something I write down really hits, run with that. Otherwise, like, I'm going to break down the energies of the cards, and there's many ways to kind of see those as working towards a passion. I'm just going to kind of pull out what I see. So 6 of Wands is the victor. It's Leo energy. It's having like a victor energy in being able to step into a certain grandness when your heart and your command and your shine has been seen and recognized and applauded. So, a real ability to stand in the spotlight, a real ability to handle praise with grace. But there's also this very stable energy with the Four of Coins coming in. So this could be around your ability to create financial, physical, material foundations, stability of some sort, stable values. There's something about an earthy stableness that has that allows you to have certain victories and witnessing of accomplishment and just shine generally. So this to me is like sort of like a business leader. It could be something a little bit more Leo-esque, like business leader or owner. Someone who, like a spokesman for products or something, or like an influencer. And just a champ. I don't know. I mean, like, just generally, I know it's not really it's like a champion of values, like strong, really strong, stable values. Sort of what I'm, just some general things putting out there. It doesn't have to be these things, but that will help me recognize the piles as we kind of get into some intricacy. Okay, so moving into mission. In this context, it means what the world needs plus what you love. Page of Wands, lovely. Very creative energy. And Four of Cups. Stability coming through. Four of Coins and then Four of Cups. This was a super interesting concoction too with the Page of Wands, which can be a little bit young and naive, but the Four of Cups, which is like very wise. Like I want to say this is the domain of imagination. So being able to get still in your mind, get still in your emotions, in order to let creativity just go into the imaginal, to come up with things out of nothing. So the imaginal. This could also be sort of knowing how to restore, like energy restoration. Like knowing when or how to calm mind and body in order to regenerate type of stuff. So your creativity can be more persevering and vital. And then also, let's pull out one more thing that's sticking out. Vision. It's like you have creative vision. But this is sort of like incubation of a vision. It's not real like normally a page I would imagine is very active. But that Four of Cups is like, it's like attracting that energy. It's creating the room for the spark to come alive, type of thing. Okay, vocation. In this context, it is what you can be paid for plus what the world needs. Eight of Cups. Six of Wands. Six of Wands again, double. Pile one had some doubles too, so that's important to note. You know how to lead things onto a more soulful path, in order to better shine. So it's like poetic vision, soulful accomplishment. And like knowing when to walk away versus hold on to something that's really not aligned. So like really being able to see to the heart of people's or your true alignment. So like the great aligner. So just some thoughts there. Okay, in profession, in this context, it is what you are good at plus what you can be paid for. Two of Swords. And Nine of Coins. Lovely. Okay, so in this last one, it's like you know how to bring you know how to find like exchanges that that meet up to your actual worth. So like really good at knowing your value, knowing value in general and knowing your value. Feeling very, this is like also feeling very centered and accepting of exactly who you are. So like self-acceptance is huge here. And just like a really generally like a very I don't know, this just has like elegance. That's what I want. I was trying to think of something more elaborate, but it's just like there's elegance here. I know these sort of things aren't really specifically professional titles, but there's something about profession around your elegance, self-acceptance, your knowing of value, that you are very great with. Okay, so moving on from here, each intersection of neighbors, when they are aligning, and attuned and working together, harmonizing, there is an archetypal energy that will show up. And we are going to look at, move those out of the way, what those archetypes are. When they show up, it's sort of indicative of which areas, which of these four corners of your purpose are really buzzing together. Yeah, didn't want to quite come out. This one did. The Judge. Okay, so when passion and mission are working together, you really know how to see black and white and all the shades in between and know exactly where to hit the mark of like right judgment, right timing, right direction. It's sort of like you know how to aim at the correct things. You're a good judge of character. You're a good judge of direction. You're a good judge of trends. Whatever your passion and mission kind of bring out in you, you have good judgment in it because of your ability to see all the shades in between white and black. Okay. Really cool. Okay, so when mission and vocation are working together, an archetype that will appear in you. And I could see this with the 4 energy, that very stable energy. It's like you have the calmness and the stability to take measurement well, which combines to really give you good judgment. Okay, so vocation and mission together is the Bardo. Ooh, very cool. So this is the ability to see the realm of the dead. So I always think of like Halloween energy or Samhain. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Samhain. But that time at the very end of October and the first day or two of November, when the veil is very thin and we can see into the realm of the dead, into the realm of the in-between, after death, but before ascension, this sort of like purgatory place, which to me, I think gives you, I like that there's like an eyeball in this, in the center here. It feels like an eyeball. It gives you sight, I think, into seeing where past generations, this feels like ancestral work to me, of like where past generations have traumas that have prevented them from moving on, hence have attached to our epigenetics as ancestral traumas. Like you really know how to see into the unseen blocks, the ancestral stories, the stories in the other world that need to be uprooted and brought forth in order to clear some energy, clear some paths for fresh patterns. And this, I completely see how, all of these energies, but what's popping out is like this 8 of Cups, like really knowing this soulful insight into what's not structurally sound. And so seeking with your soul, with your intuition for why that is. And then this super creative Page of Wands energy under the 4 of Cups, or like tied to the 4 of Cups, is just like this deep, because I think I had said I feel like that page is more an incubation than an actual like presence. And I think it's sort of like this new quality that like hasn't been birthed yet and has been able to visit the bardo, and like in that incubation it can kind of feed you with the still emotions you have. It can feed you sensations and emotions about this stuff, about this other realm, this this world of the dead and of the ancestors. Like your being, it's like you have a channel. You've got a direct channel. This is like a guide. It's like a direct channel giving you information about these areas, both for personal life but also collectively. Really interesting. Okay. Okay, so vocation and profession working together. The archetype that will show up. The tier. Ooh. I actually don't know this one. There's things I could make up, but I want to see what the book says. Okay, the tier, the mourning, the release, mourning as in mourning a death, you know, the release, the rain, place of opening the floodgates, sort of a, yeah. Okay. Tears are droplets of letting go. Once they begin to fall, we allow the swelling tide of emotion to run its elemental course. Often the tear is what is needed in order for a conversation or situation to break into the next level of intimacy and vulnerability. Okay. Some say that tears are so powerful in softening our egos that they open up a portal to the unseen world. Wow. Let's see. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us. You can't make this up. These two are very connected, the tear and the bardo for you. Let's see. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us, and we are reminded of their internal embrace. We sense our humanity, our humility, and we allow ourselves to be held. It is likely this card appears when there is grieving yet to do, a sinking down into disappointment or despair that, once acknowledged, will bring a shimmer of clarity to our dewy eyes. Melody, melancholy flowing through. So I like that melody attached there. That's interesting to me. Like you could have some musical access too, through opening to your emotions, through crying. Melodies could come to you. This Eight of Cups feels very central, because it is attached both to the tear and the bardo, to this ancestral element that I'm picking up on. But definitely, like you have the ability to open portals to both to the other, like it said, like to the other realm, to the ancestors, but to also to as a channel for others to be able to do this. You know how to create a safe space for vulnerability. You know how to walk people into darker things as a very wise, protective, caring guide, and people trust you to take them into these unknown things that you know that they aren't scary or harmful, but many people don't know how to handle some of these realms, and but they trust you. You have the trust of people to be taken there by you. And you have the trust of the ancestors of the dead. Like you're like a psychopomp. You're a bridge between people and ancestors, a bridge between people and their emotions. You know how to, if like someone has stuck emotions, you really know how to uproot them and move them and getting going, and to release those floodgates of the waters that have been pent up in them and stuck and unchanneled, and you know how to get them flowing and how to make them their own channel. Super cool. Okay. I'm just seeing wolves on this Two of Swords. I think there's some like definitely lunar energy there too, and the hawk sight. With the Eight of Cups. You're so, with this other side, the profession, because I already sensed the Eight of Cups being very tied to this, but this side is like this super sureness and love of yourself. And I think it kind of takes that sort of energy to be brave enough to kind of, dance in these really interesting places. Okay, so when passion and profession are harmonized and working together, an archetype that will show up, the self, that doesn't surprise me with that Nine of Coins and Two of Swords energy. You know you're sent, and here the stability you have and the willingness to be seen, you shine, you radiate. When these two, when passion and profession are working together, you radiate. You know your center, you know your heart, and it opens your voice. And you become a channel because you're so centered, because you're so sure of yourself, so sure of your intuition, of your sensations, of your perceptions, I already feel like you almost don't need the center one. I feel like these are so interconnected. I didn't feel this in the first two piles. Like these are very, anyway, we'll see what the middle one says. I won't go too far into how I'm seeing these already so supportive of each other, but I do feel like you are a pile that's already somewhat harmonized. Maybe you're very old souls, so it's a little easier for you to get to this like state where you allow different parts of yourself to intermingle. You radiate, you're a portal, you have good judgment, and you have guides from other realms. Super cool. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to get into an interesting thing before we get to your central point, and that is, we'll start up here. So we've already seen these archetypes that appear when neighboring sections are working together. But this archetype, each archetype is missing one of the qualities that is making up, mission or passion or whatever. And so there's an energy that will show up if there's something stuck in this, and it's the opposite energy that will help kind of bring it back down to earth or make it more healthy, whatever it is. And we're going to pull some oracle cards to show how to move from these sensations into a more central place that kind of bridges between, the opposing forces, archetypes. So when there's something stuck or pathological or too weighted in the judge, feelings of delight and fullness will appear, but also a lack of wealth. So in order to kind of like bring so much energy out of the judge and find a more central spot, we're going to pull a couple oracle cards. One of them I'm going to read from the book because I just got them and I love them from what I've experienced, but I don't know them very well. Okay, so we've got impasse with the sacral chakra and marshmallow. Okay, so I'm going to read what marshmallow is, and then we'll get a better idea of how impasse wants to work. Okay, so 61. The slip and slide. Like a gentle spring rainstorm, our slippery friend marshmallow helps us glisten and shine, spreading softness everywhere they pass through. They unwind our clenched tensions and grease our places of friction, which I think with this judge, that makes sense that there could be like a little bit like hardened, not hardened energy, but sort of dogmatic quality that could get out of control if you're too weighted here. And so I like this sort of like softness, like a light spring rain, unclenching, greasing frictions, you know. Let's see, marshmallow is an opener, a softener, a sweetener, a listener, a gentle and consensual agreeer. So a little bit more of agreeableness coming through, instead of definitive judgments, like a little bit getting more into the nuances of the gray territory, an ally in finding the right time to say yes. Okay, marshmallow is a mucilaginous and emollient, meaning they have lubricating and moistening compounds to soothe, cool, and wet your mucous membranes and sensitive tissue both inside and out. They bring down inflammation and irritation and navigate on a cellular level when those bodily responses are helpful and when they are not. Marshmallow can help create lasting change in inflammatory patterns and also immediate relief. Yeah, I love the talking about the softening and the lubricating, just like a tear. It's like it really is channeling that tear energy. The water's flowing to this, you know, when the judge is, when you're stagnant or overweighted in the judge, there is this impasse quality of like, and with the sacral chakra, which being our womb space and attached to waters, it's sort of like allowing there to be more flexibility, allowing there to be a little bit more compassion in the judgment. So like this, if the judgment, your judgments are getting a little too harsh or something, you can lean into water energy to help make waters flow a little bit more, to soften your edges and to kind of give you a little bit more of an inviting spirit, I think. Okay, so when mission and vocation, the archetype of Bardo is stagnant or stuck, there can be excitement and complacency, but an uncertainty. And the energy that this is missing, did I say that for the judge? So like the judge, what's missing in this archetype is what you're paid for. So tapping into your waters will help you pull into things that you can be paid for too, which is nice. Okay, so the Bardo, if you're stuck in this, excitement and complacency, but some uncertainty, and it's because getting weighted here means you're not paying enough attention to what you're good at. Okay, so we'll pull some cards for this. Impatience with the throat chakra. And blue cohosh. Okay, let's look at blue cohosh and then we'll see how impatience wants to work. Okay, the loving confronter. For those that are existing with some part of themselves in the shadow world, black cohosh can hold you steady. That's so interesting. This plant is a tether and an ally when harmful spirits are magnetized to certain individuals. Okay. This may be something you've had fear with, this Bardo, this spirit energy constantly around you, because maybe there's been some negative ones, or that you've perceived at least as negative, as like threatening or something. Let's see. These spirits can drain energy and create congestion or illness, blocking the energy that must move through all of us at all times. If you are a person that experiences threat or fear that is of a confusing or unclear origin, Black Cohosh is a worthy and important ally. This fear may be from past experiences or from spirits that exist in our world who seek relationships with the living. Black Cohosh is also a strong guide through the stormy waters of abuse and addiction. Abuse can so often be enmeshed in a confusing web of relationships. All parties struggling to survive amidst threats, insecurities, fear, and the search for control. These dynamics are a cycle of adrenaline surge and deflation, which can become very addictive and magnetic. Black Cohosh is a tremendous support in disrupting these cycles and allowing for a shift. Relationship cycles ask a great deal of us. If you are a person that finds yourself in these circling patterns, very likely you are drawn to working with your shadow self, your darkest and most hidden secrets. You are likely a person that has sensitivity to the world and an ability to tap into places that many will never venture to. You can't make this up. If you can find your way into a balanced state, you will have great power to connect and move energy for collective wellness and enact great shifts in harmful power structures. Black Cohosh can help you confront these shadows with strength. So this Bardo energy, like I think it could be perceived often as, if you're unfamiliar of like working with a different realm of like dark or shadowy or dense, which they may or may not be, but which brings fear in you, which just creates weird relationship cycles in general and attachment weirdness. So I think this impatience here and this ally of Black Cohosh of like kind of relieving the fear of being in shadow and working with other realms. It's like a dispeller of fear. And I think it's like, to me, this is saying this is a process, this sort of unseen stuff, and you have to have some patience with it. And the truth and understanding and ability to interpret certain things that feel uninterpretable will come. But you need to work on fear first. You dispel the fear with patience, and you will find your way to being able to interpret what this archetype is bringing into your world. So super interesting. Okay. All right. So our next one, if you are sort of overly weighted or stagnant in the tier, you may have some like feelings of comfort but an emptiness. And this archetype is missing, let's see, what you love. Okay, so let's pull the oracle cards to see ways to work with this, move into more of a central place, or just unweight some of it. Impartiality, I could see that. Okay. I almost want to say it's so funny that maybe you have judgments about tears and impartiality, which is funny coming from like the opposite energy of judge. It's like, judges do have to be impartial. Okay, so skull cap is the other. Okay, let's look at skull cap first. The swarm wrangler. Skullcap speaks to the beehive. Skullcap knows the honeybee dance in the language of nectar. Skullcap can hear the soft whisper and the roaring hum of the comb protectors. Skullcap knows how to sing this honeyed language into your ear. Skullcap is a translator between human and non-human, between fire and water, between animate and inanimate. Skullcap is the fragrance you cannot detect but drives you forward in the quest. In the quietest parts of yourself. Skullcap speaks the language of our nervous system, talking deeply as to an old friend, guiding us with care and knowledge into more calm and available states. Forest dweller and water lover, Skullcap reminds us to find quiet and quench the thirst of what we yearn to do, of what we love. That's missing there. Okay. Don't be fooled by the delicate nature of this plant's appearance. This gorgeous ally is mighty in their impact. There is almost never a time when Skullcap would not be available to aid. With their presence coursing through the net of our nerves, we settle into our body and mind, restore our energy from the drain of stress and overwork, and relate more calmly and evenly to others. Finding Skullcap in the wild. Well, let me skip that. If you are struggling to find a place in yourself that knows what it feels like to sit in simple joy and peacefulness and true expression of safety and happiness, invite Skullcap into your life over and over again. I think what I'm feeling with this is it could go either way of like a holding back of tears, bringing nervous energy, or an over tearing that's also bringing nervous energy. Like too little or too much of the tears of the water, letting the waters of life flow, can like throw you off balance. And so this is bringing you the energy of like, and also I feel like it's not even so much the lack or over thing of tears, it's a judgment around that. Yeah, it's like, this energy is lacking the judge. So it would make sense that like, you also would lack the impartiality of a judge. So your judgments are not very accurate when it comes to your tears or this area. And so it's just like being more calm, being more patient, being sweeter and gentler, and not having a judgment around the tears, whether they need to be a lot or they aren't coming. That's fine. Whatever is. Be impartial about it. And that will bring a sweetness to your surface, this non-judgment. I love the opposite of judge and non-judgment. This was so funny. Non-judgment here will help you get to that place that you have so much capability in creating protected vulnerability. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so last one. So when passion and profession and the self as an archetype is being too weighted, satisfaction could be there, but also feelings of usefulness. So this self energy is missing what is needed. Well, I think the self is needed, but anyway, in this context, I guess. It's wanted. Maybe it's not needed, but it's wanted, right? Okay. So moving, renewal, beautiful. I already have some thoughts there, but let's see what the dirt gem is that comes up. Passion flower. Beautiful. That's such a beautiful card. Okay. So passion flower, let's read about that real quick. Thanks for being patient with these since I don't know them, but I just think they're really cool cards and I wanted to use them. Okay, so the honey dripper. Passion flower is the eye of the beloved, the soft gaze and a warm breeze. Lush smells wafting with sweetness. Passion flower is the calm hand stroking, the heavy blanket, the eager embrace. Passion flower is a plant that offers their whole self for soothing, invigorating rest. The flower of passion flower, their architecture and passion is one of the most complex, magnificent wonders of the natural world. They are a web of mystery and desire, allure and sensuality. If you are restless in your own skin, if you have trouble finding ease and calm in the deepest part of yourself, passion flower is a true friend. Connect with the exquisite galaxy of an ally and let your bones sink into the earth. Feel the weight of your muscles hang heavy and loose. Passion flower brings dreams to you, gently and softly. With passion flower by your side, we can learn to slow down and relax enough to have a truly sensual experience of the world. We miss much in our lives by moving too fast. It can be difficult to focus or attune to any one thing with so much vying for our attention. Passion flower calls us to really see what we pass, smell all the amazing aromas around us, watch the other living things in their patterns, signals, and ecological intelligence. Let yourself be part of this greater communication and let the softness of your sensuality unfurl in the flower-scented breeze, calling to the honeybees. Okay, so when there's stuckness in the self, senses of uselessness, this is calling you to slow down and to tap into your senses, to feel the earth underneath you, a certain support from that, which allows all of your colors, when you feel supported, you're allowing your colors to shine, you're allowing yourself to feel and sense and think and be more radiant. I think when you're stuck in the self, there's also maybe to me like feeling not radiant on top of that uselessness. And it's this need to renew by reconnecting to the earth, by grounding, by just like really reawakening your senses through slowing down and enjoying things. Okay, so beautiful energies here. We are now to the sweet spot in the very end of the reading. Once these 4 archetypes are really all on and working together and engaged, there's like a certain gravity that pulls us into our central purpose. And so we're going to pull an archetype to see what kind of energy, what kind of archetype we feel when we are living our purpose in the context of this, the Venn diagram that this was created by. The forest. Beautiful. I actually want to read from the book for this because I know the forest, but I feel like the way the book explains it is just like way more beautiful. Okay. The woods, the thicket, the jungle. Okay, consider for a moment your earliest memory of the forest. It's likely it included all the mythic dynamics of this archetypal space, a little fear, a little enchantment, perhaps losing your way, perhaps discovering a secret mystical treasure. Such is the magic of the forest. It requires first that you enter it, and then that you get lost within it. You may think there is a path to lead you straight through, but soon enough you'll be on what is known as the pathless path. There are tricksters here, dense foliage, and entanglement. But equally present are the glimmers of fairy light and friends among the trees. You're on an adventure now, and there's no turning back. So embrace the dim light and the moving shadows, whether literal or imagined. brave the forest and get lost in getting found. I'm glad I read that from the book because I feel like it really taps into so much of what came through here with a little bit more of a mystical read than the first two piles of, yeah, I just don't think that your path is super linear. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. It is a bit liminal. It's not linear. You have these accesses, specifically with Tyr and Bardo, to just like really mysterious things that could all, like it said, could be equally a little bit scary as enchanting. And it's just getting familiar with them and knowing how to work with them and patience with that. And this trust in yourself to navigate and the trust in your judgment to find your own path through. I think this really wraps up that central place in such a beautiful way. I love it. Okay, so one more card. These are just little plant cards that show the patterns of balance versus imbalance that will show up when you are around your purpose, when you're living it or not. Okay, so Yarrow is the one that came up. So patterns of balance, luminous and strong auric field, compassionate and inclusive sensitivity. Inclusive in this scenario is like inclusive of things really unknown. Refined and flexible psychic forces. Totally. Now looking at the Tyr with that eye, there is definitely something psychic going on there. Oh, and look, the emerald is in both of these, the Tyr and the forest. Your portals are in the forest. You should visit forests more often. Okay, patterns of imbalance, extreme vulnerability to others and the environment. Yes, that forest could feel like your life, your purpose could feel very vulnerable when you're out of balance, and fear, that fear, easily depleted, overly absorbent of negative influences and psychic toxicity. Yeah. So cool. Okay, so this is what I have to say for you guys, pile 3. Really, really interesting reading. You guys have some very powerful things you need to work with, and I wouldn't doubt it will take some time. Maybe some of you are proficient at this, but I think some of you, this might be things that will take some time, that impatience, be patient to understand. There's not a lot of guidebooks on some of these things that came up for you guys. So just trust yourself, trust your guidance, trust your judgment, and you'll find the right information and guides and wisdoms you need to understand how to hold your archetypes well and centralize in your purpose. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I always love and feel appreciative and supported when you give a little thumbs up or a comment if something really resonated. And of course, I love if you subscribe and see my other readings. Okay, see you guys in the next reading. Hello, pile 4. Welcome to your reading about finding your purpose, honing your purpose, and kind of what you contribute to the world. This has been so far a very interesting reading. All the piles have been really, really different. So I'm excited to see what comes up for you guys. This is the citrine pile, by the way. Beautiful. I'm going to put it up here at the edge. Okay, so just a little bit about this reading so you know what you're getting into here. It's based off of a Venn diagram about finding your purpose, where you kind of take these 4 categories: passion, mission, vocation, profession. And I'll go, when I focus on each one, like what in this context that means, because that can be those terms are somewhat nebulous, but there's specific things that make them up. So I'm going to pull a couple tarot cards for each and just write down nothing really specific because, we all have very different purposes and energies and whatnot, but like what the tarot cards inspire me in terms of general types of roles or energies kind of coming out in them. More as just kind of like to help remember and anchor each of these four corners. Um, and then we're going to look at some archetypes that appear when the neighboring ones kind of start resonating. And then from there, like how to even further getting the opposing energies to work together. And then at the end, the sweet spot is like that central purpose. Once we've really harmonized all these complex things, where that lands like our greatest sense of purpose. So it's been really cool. So let's see what we have for you guys. Okay, so we'll start with passion, which in this context is what you are good at plus what you love, which is, probably for a lot of us one of the favorite of the four. Okay, whoops. Okay, the star, beautiful. Love that. Okay. And then a confirmation card or just a extra energy, justice. So 2 major arcanas, that could be one that really sticks out for you as the passion area. So something kind of, let's see, just trying to think of different things coming to mind with this energy. Star is like having a lot of hope and vision for the future and ability to feel like life is turning on and working for you. And then justice is this balancing energy, this lightening of our heart by making sure we're not weighted down in any part of us by different, past things or people or places that are keeping us trapped in bad cycles or patterns. So really finding, just like a really beautiful ability to find our right balance and and fairness in life as well. So this definitely feels like a passion around being able to show the world right action, to bring hope around what will harmonize and balance and lighten the load. So like you're an inspirer. Your passion is inspire related. You could be someone, like, I don't really want to say an attorney or advocate, but like someone who understands the law but uses it as a way to bring forward new ideas or new ways. So it's like this is like AOC energy to me, sort of like someone who has entrenched themselves and learned, whether through school or just their own volition, like what are the politics happening and how can I inspire change and really bring like a beautiful hope and a beautiful change and a new vision, you know. You don't have to be any of these things. They're just kind of like, I don't know, just sort of themes that feel present, you know? There's something interesting with the star card in this deck of like having the moon on it too. So it's like knowing how to bring balance and hope and vision through like really being aligned to natural rhythms. So like balance through rhythm. Enlivening through that, enlivening through balance and rhythm. Okay, let's move on to mission. Get a couple cards for this. Four of Wands, beautiful. It's been a lot of fours all around, except for in last pile, maybe. Pile 1 and pile 2 had a lot of fours. Okay. So mission, what the world needs, and what you love, where they intersect is a mission. Knight of Wands and Four of Wands. So fiery energy here. Really feeling a love of being able to expand life and ideas and creative projects to really knowing and valuing your impulses, your direction, feeling very stable in your direction, which is like an attractor energy. Like people really celebrate and gather around anyone who has like a real security and value in their direction. So it's like you're a pathfinder for creative expansion. My handwriting's terrible, so honestly, this really is kind of for me to keep track of these. Let's see. You bring a stability to expansion too. It's like your courage and your boldness. It's like creates a lot of stability in stabilizing creative projects. Creative adventures. Okay. All right, let's move to vocation. So in this context, it's what you can be paid for plus what the world needs. Six of Cups. It's beautiful. It's like reflecting and beautiful memories with Three of Wands. Love it. Being able to use sort of to use memory and emotion of nostalgia, using nostalgia to create vision, this to me is almost like you're good at reflecting and seeing memories accurately, so the past accurately, hence knowing how to see ahead into the future. So it's sort of like a little bit prophetic, I want to say. Nostalgic vision. Vision or creation. Just a general like it's like you've had the correct foundations and proper soils to have just like an overall optimism about life. So sort of like general optimism. Definitely like an optimist so far in all of your piles. Like you are the eternal optimist. Optimist, I feel like. Sorry, this is my last pile, and these have been really long readings, so I'm a little bit crazy right now. Mumbling over my words and saying who knows what. Oh, here comes some anxiety. I spoke too soon. Well, 3 of 4 piles were just like so positive. Whoops. And Page of Swords. I love this page energy. Okay. What you're good at plus what you're paid for, so profession. You clarify with like you clarify mental energy. You cut through false narratives. This could even be like, this new, not new, but like it does seem to be growing in awareness of like how to see through media, kind of seeing through illusions. Seeing through illusions and like fake news or fake or like generally like knowing how to provide creative ideas for relieving anxiety. Okay. Really cool energy, guys. This is like, it is, even though that 9 of Swords came out, it's like that positive energy still came through. Like, I really feel like you guys probably have some air and fire mixed in your chart. It's like really, yeah, able to burn through things and move to see the truth of things. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I'm going to move these aside. And we're going to look at some archetypal energies that will show up when neighboring categories are like harmonizing and attuning and starting to work together. Yeah, so we'll see what comes out with these. And each, well, we'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just see what archetypal energies come out through the neighbors working together. Okay, so the seed with passion and mission working together. So they both have in common what you love, but then also a blending of what the world needs and what you're good at. With seed energy. So being able to, and I feel that with both the star and justice, like there's some vision. There's some future vision of what needs to be. Like you can see ahead. And you have the patience, I think, with that 4 of Wands, that stability, that trust in your creativity. You have the patience to plant seeds, which means you have the ability to foresee what's needed in the future and be the initiator of that, but like in an incubation way, in a way that like you're not necessarily getting all the glory and fame and some huge accomplishment. You're willing to work for what tomorrow needs. You're willing to put tomorrow's needs before your now needs, which is really beautiful. And so needs so much more of that energy in our world. So thank you guys. Okay, so the archetype that appears when mission and vocation are working together, both have in common what the world needs, but also bringing together what you love and what will be paid for into this. I felt this one. The creator, totally. I felt that with the Three of Wands, with all this wands energy, Four of Wands, Knight of Wands, Three of Wands. Yeah. Creator energy could be, I mean, this in this card they're holding like a paintbrush. I don't think it has to be as an artist. Creators come in many forms. But you have a fire in you. You have a need and a willpower and a generator in you that is like needs to make and create and move and shake and see your actions. I like the balance of the seed. There's a part of you that's really willing to kind of sacrifice in incubating things for the future, and then there's a part of you that really pushes forward and wants to see things happen now at the same time. So that'll be an interesting one to balance. We'll see how that goes. But both are very creator type energies, just in sort of different forms. Okay, so vocation and profession coming together. These both have in common what's paid for, what you can be paid for, but also where what you're good at and what the world needs meet. The orphan. So, I like this with the nostalgia. Like, you have that solid foundation and this clarity of mind to know how to work with the orphaned aspects of the world. I mean, like, in a real practical sense, like, there has been so much migrating in the world, whether through immigration or refugees. Like, the world just seems to be really needing to move people around for whatever reason. Probably to diversify a little bit. In that kind of a scenario, there's a lot of literal orphans that are the result of that. So, like, in a very practical sense, you may really have an energy that knows how to deal with the crises of so many orphans, that knows how to make people's orphaned aspects of themselves heal. But also, I do think that there is, like, with this ability, to really see into memories in the past over here, and this clarity of mind over here, this know-how of how to work with the archetype, whether someone's a literal orphan or not, like how to work with that archetype of making someone feel less separate, how to restore and heal that sense of separateness that so many people hold, that weren't literal orphans. I think every one of us have aspects of orphan in us, so you really know how to work with memory and clarity of mind to, like, really bring some healing to that type of thing. Okay, so now an archetype that appears when passion and profession are really working together. So they have in common what you're good at, and also bring an intersection of what you can be paid for and what you love into the picture. Okay, the vessel, the body, sacredness. The vessel and the seed are not so different either. It's like this real understanding of what we grow out of, what we have to shed, what kind of light and energy and DNA is within us. But the vessel specifically is definitely like the care for the body. And I love the star has this kind of naked-ish woman as well as here. So there's something like really inspiring energy, I feel like, around knowing how to treat the physical self and how to treat physical things, how to treat vessels of all kinds, what they can be used for. Could even be on like a real, like, super zoomed in tangible sense, like a florist or something, like uses vessels to bring beauty and inspiration, like literal vases, or someone who makes like potters, or like. But there's something about this vessel energy, things that hold things, bodies that hold organs, containers that hold flowers, vases that hold the waters of life to transport waters from back in the day, waters from the rivers up to use and boil. There's something about like calming anxiety and calming mind, meeting up with in like being an inspirer, and like justice in this scenario could even like be in that balance, more of an aesthetic thing, like a designer. But it's like something about using the body or the physical world and using balance and inspiration that like really draws in this vessel archetype. So that's really beautiful. Okay, so before we get to the central part, there's more harmonizing that needs to go on still. So we sort of harmonized the neighbors, but now we have to see harmonize these four. And what needs to be harmonized here specifically is the opposing force. In this scenario, the neighbors should work pretty well together because these are pretty refined energies already. But we're going to look at different kind of feelings that will arise if we're too weighted in one of these, and pull some oracle cards about how to move a little bit more towards the opposing force, but really towards like they're all trying to get to the central point, really. Oh, actually, I'm not starting with this. Just on autopilot. So let's start with the seed energy. When you're a little weighted in the seed energy, you could feel a sense of delight and fullness, but a lack of wealth. So the thing that the seed is missing is what's paid for. Okay, so where did those cards go? Pull some oracle on these. I'm pulling 2 oracle cards for each of these, and one of them, they're brand new, and so I'm going to be using the book for it because they're just really cool cards and they felt like they needed to be used. Okay, so root chakra and insecurity. Makes sense. Okay. And then matched with rosemary. A lot of red in that. Okay, let's see what rosemary says, and then we'll see what that means for insecurity. Okay. So the holder of belonging. Rosemary is a deep, unconditional, I will cross space and time for you kind of love. Rosemary has a long history of being planted in front of the house to act as a guardian and a protector for the household and to balance the family's presence within. If you are feeling not completely present in your life or your body, if you dissociate, feel forgetful, absent, or are struggling to keep up, bring rosemary into your family. Aromatic rosemary is awakening, stimulating, grounding, and can bring these qualities into your days with strength. Often feelings of being not fully incarnated linger from a time earlier in our lives when we may have needed to split from our full selves and live only in parts of ourselves. There are many different reasons children feel the need to protect themselves, sometimes simply from instability or the unknown, other times from direct threat or assault. Okay, I'm skipping a little. The essence of rosemary is a deep satisfaction of creating something yourself, something that is lasting and meaningful. The sense of home that rosemary can bring is the harbinger for all of us that we can build whatever we need to house our desires, our longings, our sense of place. Rosemary is at the door waiting to sit down at the table with you and celebrate. So insecurity. So to me, where this seed energy for you guys gets into weird patterns or needs help is feeling secure in planting the seed. I actually feel like you need more help. This may, to me, indicate you have more weight in the orphan versus the seed. You may have a hard time getting into this seed archetype of struggling to find where to plant these intentions, ideas, seeds for the future, because you don't always feel secure or like there's a welcome energy, and that totally would indicate to me like a overweightedness in that orphan energy. So I feel like you actually need to find more seed energy and, do some work on your root chakra, like feel the earth under you, holding you as always there as a stable, grounded force. Bring some rosemary into your house. Let's see. What else can I pull out from that? Create something yourself, something that is lasting and meaningful. So even start with simple things. What do you want to see created in your life? What can you create for yourself before you plant seeds for others? That might make you feel more stable and trusting in the process of laying seeds that have more to do with bigger things rather than just you. Like, create things for yourself first. Create seeds that grow fast and that are very personal centered to build up some trust and security and a sense of that process of growth and rooting, Okay, so moving on to the creator energy. When this energy is too weighted or stuck or stagnant or whatever it is, we'll see there could be excitement and complacency, but some uncertainty. Okay. And this energy is lacking what you are good at. So it has what you can be paid for, what the world needs, and what you love. So some experience needed, maybe. So faith with the third eye chakra. An anemone. I love anemones. Okay, let's see what anemone says. Okay, the wind rider. Anemone is the wind flower. Open your window, let a rush of fresh air wash over you. Watch the curtains blow and know that this windy bloom will help you remember what it feels like to be here and now, loosening the petals of your heart. Anemone shows us old, stuck, determined places in ourselves. Perhaps they are wounds or simply tired beliefs. Anemone lifts your shutters and lets the wind dust your corridors. Anemone is for the obstinate, but also for the fragile. Closing at night and reopening in the morning, Anemone knows how to protect resources, how to shelter, how to open to the world at the right time. It's long been called the diviner of weather systems, known for conveying when rain is impending and closing their petals in anticipation. We learn from anemone's rain divination to pay attention to what is around us, to all the signals we receive, and respond to subtlety with attention and devotion. It is a loosener of the often strongly held self-preservation patterns in our thinking, the habits in our body that live in preparation for the next disaster, or the belief that doom is inevitable. Yes, disasters will come someday. Holding a sense of awareness and preparedness is essential for our survival, but living in a state of hypervigilance will overburden the systems we need in order to survive and be okay. Anemone dislodges some of these deeply entrenched beliefs. Okay. Release your petals to the wind is its last thought. So, yeah, I think this creator energy, you may like be, it's like somewhat, distrustful, almost the same thing of like being able to lay down roots. I feel like this orphan energy is so weighted. I'm interested to see what comes out there. There is this like this distrust that anything's lasting, so why create? Again, I feel like this is this thing of like you're needing to root more into this energy. I don't feel like you get stuck here. I feel like you're needing more of this creator energy to have faith and trust in your creative process. It's almost similar to this, where it's like create something for yourself and slowly build trust. Like start small and allow that like you need more self-efficacy, meaning the trust that you know what it takes to finish things, to achieve things. So start with small goals, start with small creations, small seeds, and grow from there. And slowly over time, like this isn't something you can do overnight, build some faith in that the conditions are always right to create. There's always the potential, yes, that something will come in to disrupt this. That's always a possibility, but it shouldn't stop you from creating. So if you can just start small so you don't sabotage yourself, little projects, especially since this is the one where you're missing sort of the good at, like you may be a beginner creator or something. Just start small. Learn how to, just the analogy, if you were learning how to draw, learn how to draw a cat, practice the cat over and over, and then learn how to draw bigger things, and then learn how to draw, other items around it, and then work up to building like a whole drawing that's got backgrounds, and, apply that to whatever the creator means to you. I'm just saying, like, start with like small, be okay with being a beginner, be okay with that there may be something that disrupts that. If you feel passionate about something, you should act on that, and have faith in yourself, have faith in the process, Okay, so let's move to the orphan energy. And this one says, when you are, I'm going to predict already that we were very overly weighted in orphan. So you may have a lot of feelings of comfort, but some emptiness. Okay, so let's get some oracles. So what's to come? Bittersweet. Okay, with the throat chakra. I think for a lot of you guys, this is probably the sensation. You feel a lot like some comfort, but some emptiness at the same time. Ashwagandha and bittersweet. Okay, let's look at the ashwagandha energy. And then know what to do with bittersweet. Okay, the loyal endurer. Ashwagandha is the long game, the big wide horizon view. Ashwagandha is a plant known for building. Hold on. Orby, down. Oh my gosh, my dog. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to let him destroy things, I guess. Ashwagandha is the long game, the big wide horizon view. Ashwagandha is a plant known for building endurance and stamina. Ashwagandha is not a quick fix, a fast or explosive relationship, or a finite. I'm sorry, of course, my dogs are. This plant is in it for the long haul and asks you to commit and put in the time required to shift, to grow, and to heal. It wants you to, you really need to get into this seed energy. I knew it. Trusting in things lasting. Everyone is capable of change, but rarely do changes happen overnight. In order to create new patterns in our bodies and minds, it means repaving the pathways, or rather, carving entirely new ones. It means telling yourself sweetly and quietly each day, I am building this, it will be. Ashwagandha is an ember that burns long and slow, warming from the inside out and creating a lasting heat that can move through the most buried cold. Ashwagandha can create and restore that vital center that is your own true, unique, and authentic desire. Ashwagandha helps reconnect with that place that is impassioned, energized, and resilient, but you must work for it. You must put in the time, coax the flames from the bank of embers. If you feel like your light is dim, like your lust for life is sagging, like you wake up feeling unrested and unsure, ashwagandha is a dedicated ally. Sometimes the pilot light goes out and we need to relight it. Sometimes we lose our way, wandering on a trail that does not lead us to our greatest potential. Ashwagandha will help you find your way back and ignite your spirit for the many twists and turns ahead that every important journey will require. Yeah, I think this is definitely sort of this working slowly over time, repatterning to like push into that seed energy and out of this a little bit of this like inability to kind of commit or something, and just embrace that there could be bittersweet moments in the long game. But overall, in the end, in that repatterning and looking and planting and doing things for the long haul, overall, that bittersweetness, the twists and unexpected twists and turns mean nothing compared to the foundations and trust we build in having certain stability and kind of belief in a future type of thing. Okay, so last one, we're going to look at what happens when vessel is unbalanced. Could bring feelings of satisfaction, but feelings of uselessness. So this is the archetype that is missing what the world needs. Okay, so let's look at the oracle cards for this. Mysticism. And mugwort. Okay, let's look at mugwort real quick. The magnifier. Mugwort is the horse on whose back your dreams ride to you. Mugwort calls forth what is lying deep inside of you, yearning for attention, integration, and expression. Yeah, calling you into the creator. Mugwort is not discerning of what messages come through, and does not judge your dreams, but is simply the doorway that opens to your subconscious, letting it speak to your conscious mind. As a complex and heavily cerebral species, we need to connect to the other worlds of our consciousness, and the liminal space is Mugwort's terrain. Liminal space and mysticism, that's where these tie in. As people on this earth, we experience both the mundane and the magical every day. We experience pain, excitement, apathy, horror, joy, and ecstasy. Our tremendous task is the integration of these experiences and the memory of them in healthy ways. Through Mugwort, though Mugwort shines in this role, it is not a matter to be taken lightly. Mugwort brings forth the working of your inner mind. Dreams can often feel twisted, dark, bizarre, or unnerving. It will bring the dreams forth when there is something within that needs to be processed and enhance the vibrancy of your dreams so that you may experience them fully. This can be magnificent and frightening. If you are prone to nightmares or if your dreams are dark or sad in nature, you can still call on Mugwort and ask them to stand with you as these dreams come forth, but go gently with caution, little by little. Being able to integrate our dreams aids us in being vibrantly present, clarifies what we truly desire, and leads us to step more fully into who we are. Mugwort is a special ally to the pelvis, a region prone to stagnant patterns and blocked creative energy, which can lead to depression. Climb on Mugwort's back and let their wild ride carry you through your own imagination into the realms of cosmic movement. So definitely feeling this call from like using mysticism, using dreams to push more into that creator energy. And I see how these really are quite opposing. Like the vessel to me feels very material, tangible, practical, and the creator is pulling out of liminal spaces and making something. So, to move from the more physical and especially that stuckness, where it says in the pelvis, dreams open to the liminal spaces. And even if dreams feel uncomfortable to you, like really pushing into those. Okay, so there's quite a map here that's like harmonizing energies in concentric circles to get into our main purpose. It's a little complex, but hopefully you've identified certain things that show up in you and energies you have and like how to harmonize them. And now we are to the best part, the juicy spot, the purpose spot. And let's see when all of these, when all of these 4 archetypes are really harmonizing and working well and humming and attuned with each other, the archetype that shows up in you is agape. I think this is, I'm going to read from the book on this too. I think this is the one about time. Love. Devotion, unconditional love. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earth as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? What does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? Service, reverence, honor, joy. I feel like that, yeah, like that tuning of all of these energies is just like really trusting and letting go into the unknown and trusting that it will have your back, that it will catch you, and like just being lost in awe and wonder. Um, and love is like where your purpose really comes together and where things really start to feel alive and working for you. And then a last little oracle card. It's these little plant cards that show us what kind of patterns of balance or patterns of imbalance will show up when we are or aren't working our and sitting in our purpose spot. So mullion is what shows up. So patterns of balance, a strong sense of inner conscience, truthfulness, uprightness. Okay, so patterns of imbalance, inability to hear one's inner voice, moral weakness and confusion, indecisiveness, lying or deception to oneself or others. Interesting. I feel like with all this seed and vessel and creative energy here, there is sort of like this. I feel like it's more of this thing of like really needing to be honest with yourself rather than like an upright citizen or something. um, yeah, like really hearing the inner calls that you have. They are strong, but you just have like, I think some commitment issues with orphan and like some stuckness with the vessel. Like you need to push into the seed and creator more to help kind of gravitate you into the agape. Like really listening to those calls, the inner voice, the what's what's truthful in you, what you honestly want, what makes you feel upright and alive. That's sort of what's coming through to me. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful and definitely complex, but I've been suggesting to the other piles maybe take a screenshot of this and make your own map that's a little cleaner or something. And any thoughts you had with these different piles that were more specific to you that came through, add those in. But I do think it would be helpful to do a little screenshot and kind of do your own mapping of those. But yeah, hopefully there were some gems in here. Hopefully it helps you to identify and maybe you recognize some of these archetypes and qualities that showed up and what they mean and how to make them start working together and harmonizing them and making them beautiful and healthy and alive. So, okay, this is the end. This is where I'm leaving you. If you liked this reading, I always appreciate a thumbs up or a nice comment, or also a subscription if you want to see my other readings, which are usually not this complex, I promise. So, anyway, yeah, this is where I will leave you. Beautiful agape souls, and I will see you in the next reading. Okay, see you guys.